most of that year, we were on our own every day, fending for ourselves, aimless and feral and free. We didn't go to school that year, and this drew no notice from anyone. Mendocino was a hippie refuge where a passel of half-wild children wandering around unattended struck no one as unusual and aroused no concern. Every afternoon we ran and capered and played on the beach like a pack of stray puppies. Each morning brought the same set of difficulties: the hunger and the cold, the relative lack of shelter, the long stretch of unstructured hours, and yet each morning the world was new. The sky was pink like the inside of a shell. The shoreline was studded with treasure: sea glass, shards of abalone, intricate sticks of driftwood, and the occasional fisherman's float. I loved just to look at all the marvels of the ocean. I would crouch down to peer for long minutes at the skeletal underside of a horseshoe crab, the elegant twist of a whelk, the clear blue bodies of jellyfish washed up on the sand. The beach was as much our home as the station wagon. Years later, I would hear the phrase sea urchins, and although the reference was to a marine creature, my first thought was, that was us. We spent our days roaming the same 2-mile stretch again and again. On any given afternoon, we could be found beside the bluffs on the outskirts of the village, on the winding trails along the cliffs, or down by the water. It was a relief to see our mother each time she returned in her pale blue uniform dress, and to trail her to the neighborhood store. We never had more than a few dollars to spend on dinner for the 6 of us. My mother's scant pay had to cover diapers for the baby, the cost of washing our clothes at the laundromat, soap and shampoo, cigarettes by the carton, the little squares of paper she ate every morning, and the pungent green clusters of buds she called herbs. At the local grocery, we picked out random items: grapes or tangerines, carob bars, halva, dried slices of persimmon or papaya. Sometimes a kind cashier gave us hot water in cardboard cups. On these blessed evenings, we would divide the contents of a top ramen package among the cups and sit on the curb outside the store to eat it. That soup was the best dinner I'd ever had, the best dinner I could imagine having. After this, we would go to the public showers at Fort Bragg, an event that rivaled dinner as the best of the day. Hot water was a benediction, however it came. That January day began like any other, shivering, driftless, dreaming of heat, wandering the headlands with my sister and baby brother. Alan and Pablo were back at the car, drying seaweed. On a distant bluff was a bus, one we had never seen before, like a school bus but bleached white on the outside with blue-green trim. The novelty of it pulled us near, and somehow, though we moved through the world with a kind of wary insularity, we did not talk to strangers, we tended not to even go near them, I found myself knocking at its door. I'll never know what led me to knock, and I'll never know why the man inside swung open the door to admit us. I only know that I climbed the steps that day and beheld a sight that seared itself into my mind, an image that never dimmed, that carried me through the weeks and months and years ahead. It's an image that's still with me now, a vision of sanctuary, of a haven, ensconced within the metal shell of a battered old vehicle. It was a home on the road, just as ours was, but inside it was as enchanted and exquisite as a Fabergé egg. It was warm inside the bus. There were cream-colored cafe curtains on all the windows, and each pane of glass was clouded with steam. There was a stove with a cooking pot and a red tea kettle. There was bench seating built in along the sides, covered with brightly colored pillows and a batik throw. A macrame owl hung on one wall. The air was fragrant with cooking spices. The man stirred whatever was in the pot with a wooden spoon. I had never imagined a space like this. Orderly, cheerful, cozy and snug, a world unto itself. It was like a cottage in a fairy tale. I looked at Isabella in wonder, and she looked back at me with nothing in her face. The indifference in her eyes filled me with bewilderment. She doesn't see it, I thought. I would think about that bus every single day for years and years. I'd conjure the memory of it just before falling asleep at night. I would draw pictures of it, embellish it in my mind, and add whimsical touches like a jeweled curtain, woven rugs, and paper flowers. I'd imagine it with different drapes and fixtures and furniture. I would hold it close to me. But at the